Have you ever wondered where your tea and coffee comes from? No, not from the tea store, not from Ika or Coop. No, I'm talking about the mystical journey of your beloved drink's existence. Brace yourself, for today we will hear about the monks who defied sleep, some divine interventions, dancing goat, and about a revolution that was started by tea. Believe me, from today, you will not look at your drink, tea or coffee, the same way. Let's start with tea, a drink so ancient and revered that probably we can call it a living legend. Let's go back to 2737 BC in China. The Emperor Shen Nong, a ruler, a scholar, and yes, this one is more important, a herbologist. He had a habit of boiling his water before drinking. One day, in the shade of a huge wild tree, he was boiling his water. Plop! A leaf falls into his water. And then the water turns a golden hue. Curious, he just had a sip of this water. It was unlike anything he had already tasted, something refreshing and amazing. But here is a twist. The tree from which the leaf fell was not an ordinary plant. It was called Camellia sinensis, a divine plant. Some legend tales also state that Shen Nong, the emperor, was not a mere human being, but a deity who was sent to earth to introduce us to this special brew. And just when you thought it cannot be more mystical, let's just go to India. There is this monk Bodhidharma on a mission to promote Zen. He was meditating for long 9 years and he was fighting sleep. He found it very difficult. And as an extreme step, he plucked off his eyelids and threw it on the earth. Where his eyelids fall, a tree, a plant was grown, which you see as tea today. An extreme step, a tree that was grown from the devotion of a monk. Now let's talk about coffee. Our story about coffee starts in the highlands of Ethiopia with a goat herder named Kaldi. One day, he saw something peculiar about his goats. They were frolicking with energy, jumping around, and even dancing. And what was the reason? Some wild berries from some mysterious bush. The curiosity spiked, and Kaldi himself tried these berries. He could feel some change. He was full of energy, refreshed. Excited, he shared his invention to the local monastery. The monks were actually trying a lot of ways to keep themselves awake so that they can pray longer. They started brewing this berries into their drinks. And they could now pray all night. Wild berry that keeps your sleep away. But wait, some even say that this is not the origin. This was found out even more earlier. Some legends state that in the battlefield, the soldiers used these wild berries, crushed them, and used it as a power booster, but not as a drink, as a snack. Talk about some power up. These humble drinks did not remain a local secret. They spread across the world, and by 17th century in Asia, tea was considered as a valuable currency for trading. And coffee, it has a story of its own revolution. But one of the most interesting stories of tea creating a revolution happened on December 16, 1773, as a bustling port of Boston. This was the infamous Boston Tea Party, a revolution that spiked in America. In early 1770s, there was tension between American colonies and the British Crown. The British Crown started to impose taxes on anything and everything. They also imposed taxes on tea using the Tea Act. This act does not just take taxes for consuming tea, but also give the privileges to the British Crown to sell tea from their British East India Company to anyone and everywhere, which actually downplayed the contributions of the local merchant. The colonists, already fed up with taxation without representation, saw this as a last straw. They decided to take action. On a cold December night, a group of colonists, disguised as Mohawk Indians to show their despair, boarded 3 British ships docked in the Boston harbor. Over the course of several hours, they had drowned 342 chests of tea, which corresponds to almost 90,000 pounds, which actually values at around millions today. This wasn't just about tea. This was about a bold statement the Americans took against the British crown. And what is more fascinating is that this Boston Tea Party led to the spark that created American Revolution. The protester chose tea, a symbol of British culture and refinement, as a bold move to stand against the British crown. This brew was not just a normal beverage, but a revolutionary icon. So, tea just does not warm your hearts, but also sparked a rebellion. And coffee? During the Industrial Revolution, coffee was the lifeblood stream for a lot of industrial workers, which kept them awake through their hectic shifts. You never know. Maybe if it was without coffee, the Industrial Revolution could have been a little less revolutionary. So the next time you sip tea or coffee, remember it is not just a beverage. You're savoring centuries of sacrifice, rebellion, and culture. Whether it's a heartwarming cup of tea or an energizing espresso shot, each sip has a steeping history to be told. Here is to the stories that make our drink extraordinary, filled with culture, sacrifice, and a lot of mystical stories. Let me know which of these stories was your favorite. From China to India to America to British to the Industrial Revolution, everything is interesting. But let me know which one is your favorite. Until the next time we see, I would highly recommend that you please like, share, and subscribe to this channel so that we can grow together. And I'll come with a more interesting story. Sip your cup of tea or coffee that's in front of you. Until then, bye.